Need cheap coins right now? Check out Redzonecoins.com. For the very best discount available, use code DIRECTOR for 20% off. Hold up. 20% off? That's cheaper than any other YouTuber. Big ups to Redzonecoins.com. Use code DIRECTOR. Yo, what up, brothers? What's up? It's the Director. Madden Ultimate Team fans. Got a pretty big promo that launched into the game today. A couple of big promos. The one I want to talk about today is the team standouts. We got a ton of new items in the game. Of course, all of them coming with a power-up item, which means that there's a ton of new players in the game that can hit level 90. And that level 90 is going to allow you access to like some seriously cool abilities and X factors. So in this video, I kind of want to rate these guys 1 to 10, kind of get my live reaction. I've kind of seen some of these players, but I'm really taking a good look at them for the first time right now. Kind of give you guys an idea of who to go after. Obviously, you're going to want to go after your theme team guy, for me being Austin Eckler. Outside of that, there are some really good cards that you should probably target to add to your team. Maybe see about getting them powered up and added to your God squads, because there's some pretty good items in here. And then we'll also talk a little bit about their value and if they're worth it at this point too. Before we get started, guys, hit us up with a like and sub if you do enjoy this content. Small amount of time you guys take to hit the like, sub, and bell notification helps me out a lot. Let's get into this video. Lights, camera, action. Team standouts coming to Madden Ultimate Team. Now, I will say this about the team standouts. There's a lot of good cards in here, but the power-ups are ludicrously overpriced. If you guys were part of the glitch that was happening this morning, a lot of us were trying to do our solos, which I got them all done myself, and at the end, we didn't get a reward. A lot of us were hoping to see that power-up come out with those rewards. Of course, you get a free 89 nat for completing the Team Affinity solos for this promo. But ultimately, you only got the 89. I can confirm this. I got my Austin Eckler with no Austin Eckler power-up, and those power-ups are going for a lot of coins. These sets are really expensive to do, so just kind of go through, see if these cards are worth the effort. If not, a lot of people are saying, you know, unless they have a really cool ability unlocked at 90, a lot of these cards are okay priced. You can just pick them up and get their power-ups later when they come down in price. So without further ado, guys, let's get into the rankings of these. This is how it's going to work. I'm going to take a look at all these cards individually and rate them between 1 and 10. 10 being the higher end cards, the cards that you want to go after. 1 being the lower end cards, saying, you know, outside of a theme team, maybe you can pass on them. So let's get into it, man. Alvin Kamara, 89 overall halfback with 88 speed. Of course, on a theme team, this can be said with every one of these cards, it's a must add. Outside of a theme team, Kamara's actually not too bad. 88 speed, maybe a little behind the times now that we've got Bo Jackson. We got some really good halfbacks in the game, not to mention, you know, Barry Sanders you can add to any theme team, but still, he's not bad because of what he has. He is a receiving back archetype, which means you can get backfield master for just 1 ability point, which is pretty good if you got a guy out there that doesn't have hot route master or something like that. So I think Alvin Kamara is a pretty decent one. I'm gonna give him a rating of 6. I think 6 out of 10 is okay, just because he's a different kind of running back, and he looks pretty decent with that 87 break tackle and 88 speed. Next up, we got Duron Harmon, 88 speed cornerback, 6'1", so he's definitely a little bit taller with really high zone. Now, a lot of people are playing a ton of man right now, so they like seeing that man coverage and that press up a little bit higher, and honestly, that's kind of the meta right now. Still, for a zone coverage guy, he's pretty decent with an 81 hit power. This isn't too bad. I think Duron Harmon actually isn't a cornerback. I think he's a safety. Yeah, he's a safety. So, I mean, when all said and done, this isn't a terrible safety because he is fast. He is 6'1", has decent hit power, and obviously you can run, you know, man with him in zone anyway. So I'll give this one a 7. I think I like the hit power to speed ratio. I like the 6'1" height and the 93 zone coverage. Not bad. Next up for the Bears, a 90 speed cornerback with 89 zone, 82 man, and 82 press. Now, I kind of told you guys about the man a little bit earlier because I know there's going to be a couple of cornerbacks in here that maybe they're good at one thing, but it has to be the thing that you're running on your team. In this instance, this is going to be another one of these zone cornerbacks. And he's not bad. Definitely has the speed, has the agility, has the jump. He's not too short. I like him, especially with that speed. I'm going to give him a 7 for what he is. As far as a cornerback, being a zone coverage cornerback, he's definitely not bad. Next up for the Raiders, we got Derek Carr. I know Trumpet Monkey was really excited about this one, and this card's actually not too bad, man, especially with the way chemistries are working this year. You can get that throw power up to a ridiculous, like, 96 throw power, I think is what Trumpet Monkey's was, and then on top of that, his accuracies are all okay, but still, as far as quarterbacks go, outside the throw power, I'm not too impressed with Derek Carr, so I'm going to give him a 4. I would say outside of a theme team, he's probably an easy pass. Next up, we have Aldon Smith. How crazy that Aldon Smith comes back to the NFL. He starts dominating, and now we're seeing good cards in Madden Ultimate Team. He's got a really good combo of power and finesse move. That's something I love personally to see in Madden Ultimate Team. Kind of low on the speed. I'll give him a 6, though. I think, you know, for what you're getting, he's good at power and finesse move. He's going to be good at rushing the quarterback. He's definitely not a bad option. Next up, we got Brandon Graham, another one of these guys. So he's a little bit more even when it comes to the block shed and finesse move. But I've seen Brandon Graham play, and in the past, he's been pretty good. I can't speak for what he is this year. I'm going to give him a 5, just because he's kind of middle of the pack kind of guy for me. He's been decent in the past, but, you know, times change. Maybe he's not as good in Madden 21. Next up, we got JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, 6'5". I think Pierre-Paul plays outside linebacker. Maybe they did switch him to defensive end. He's outside linebacker, yeah. So as far as outside linebackers are concerned, 78 speed is pretty terrible. The finesse move at 93 is okay, but the block shed power move aren't good either. I'm going to give this one a 2, man. I just feel like, you know, unless you're running him at defensive end, that speed is going to be really hindering to your entire team. So I would say maybe stay away from JPP. Next up, we got Shaq Thompson of the Carolina Panthers. 85 speed, which is decent. He's a little bit low in the zone, but pretty high on the hit power. Block shed's a little bit low as well. I don't know, man. I don't hate it. He's definitely not too fast, not too slow. He kind of doesn't really, like, you know, excel in zone coverage. I'll still give him a 5, though, just because he's got okay speed. I'm pretty sure he's going to look good on Panthers themed teams. Next up is Eric Kendricks. Wow, 81 speed. Pretty sure Eric Kendricks is a middle linebacker. I think I just figured this out a couple of streams ago, guys. You can actually click on this and it'll show you the full picture version of the card. So middle linebacker for Eric Kendricks at 81 speed. Is that something that you're going to want on your team? I don't think so, man. I think this is an easy pass for me, even though he has pretty high zone. I just think that, you know, the lack of speed, he's just going to get burnt all over the place. Next up, we got Big Narc McKinney, 83 speed. Again, middle linebacker, I'm pretty sure. A lot of middle linebackers in this promo. This one's an easy pass for me as well, just because of the 83 speed. When it comes to middle linebacker, if you don't have at least 86 speed to me, you're dead to me. Even if you have really good zone coverage like the guy we saw above. So this is going to be a pass for me as well. I'll give that a 2. Next up, we got Kenny Vaccaro, 86 speed, strong safety. Definitely not a bad item here because of the 91 hit power. A little bit low in the man and zone, but he's not too bad. As far as like the price point at 166,000 coins, unless you can get that zone coverage up to like 90 or close to it, I still think this is going to be a pass for me. I'm going to give this one a 4 just because, you know, the speed is a little bit lower than I like to see for a safety, and the zone coverage is definitely a lot lower, but he does make up for it a little bit with the hit power. Next up, John Bostic, another middle linebacker. Now, I'm of course just now seeing the MLB right next to the name. Save us some time here in the future. 86 speed. Okay, so we said that's kind of my threshold of where I feel comfortable. 88 hit power, 86 break. Is that break shed? Or block shed. He's okay. I'm gonna say he'll be an okay user, maybe an okay if you're gonna be putting up against a run or something like that. I would say he's just fine. He's in the middle of the pack for me. I'm gonna give him a 5. All right, guys, next up, did we go to the second page first? I think we did. Let's go to page number 1 over here. Julian Edelman of the Patriots. Edelman's usually a pass for me. 87 speed is okay. If you're strictly running him in the slot, I'd say you'll be just fine. He's got pretty high route running and pretty high catching outside of deep route running, so don't run him deep, but still, he's okay. I'll give him a 3. I don't think he's worthless because he's going to definitely be good in the slot, but outside of that, maybe not too much. Next up is L'Jarius Sneed. This is one of those cards, man, that you have to pay like a lot of attention to because L'Jarius Sneed has been pretty good through the season so far, and he's very fast and very tall. 86 zone, 86 man, very easy to get that up to 90-90 on even outside of a theme team. So I'm gonna give this one an 8, man. He's got the coverage, he's got the speed. I'll actually even say 10. I say this is one of those guys that even outside of a theme team, you definitely want to go after because he's got the right combo of attributes to be lethal on anybody's squad outside of a Chiefs theme team. Next up is Kyler Murray, 89 speed with 90 throw power. So you guys want to, stay away from those Michael Vick, stay away from those Lamar Jacksons. You want to be something different and unique. Go pick up a Kyler Murray, man. Definitely okay on the thresholds as far as accuracy. You might want to get his accuracy deep up a little bit. And then his speed and throw power, definitely that combo that you're going to want to see for the meta. So I'm going to give this one an 8. I think he's pretty good. He was really good last year. He's going to be good this year again, too. Next up is DK Metcalf, straight 10 once again, 6'3", 92 speed, incredibly strong. He's got great catching, he's got great route running, maybe work on his mid route running or deep route running a little bit, but this is one of those guys that absolutely you want to go after, even if you need a wide receiver at a little bit cheaper of a price point, because 210K is still expensive, especially if you try and power him up, but still he's going to be one of those guys that absolutely does perform for you out there. Next up is Justin Simmons, 87 speed. That's okay. With 88 zone, that's also okay. Middle of the pack guy for me, just because he is 6'2", he is tall, he's decently fast. I'll give this one a 5. I think he's decent for his position. Next up is Blake Martinez, 83 speed at middle linebacker. That's an easy pass for me, man. Outside of the play rec, that really doesn't do anything for us anyway. This one's going to be a 1 for me. I'm sorry. He's too slow. He doesn't really excel at anything, and I just don't see a place for him on anybody's team. William Jackson III, 6 foot tall, 91 speed with 88 man coverage and 85 press. This one's pretty unique. I'm going to give this one a 7. I think there's other guys that are a little bit better from this promo, but still, this is a pretty solid item if you want a guy that's fast and tall with really good man and okay press. Next up, we got Miles Jack, 6'1", 86 speed, right outside linebacker. Now, what's interesting about Miles Jack is that he's usually a coverage outside linebacker, which is really hard to find these guys, to fit like a 4-3 scheme. So for what he is, I'm going to give him a 7, just because he is fast, he is tall, he's going to have decent zone, which let's go ahead and just take a look at it now live real quick, just to kind of confirm that. Zone coverage of 82. So yeah, absolutely. If you're running that kind of scheme where he fits, he's even higher, but as just far as a card to add to, a 4-3 scheme, I'm going to give him like a 7. He's pretty decent. Next up is Alan Lazard, 6'5". I guess I didn't realize how tall he was. 6'5" receiver with 89 speed. This one, man, dude, I'll have to give this one a 7 as well. I mean, he's good at catching, he's good at route running, but man, that speed to height ratio, that's rivaling that of like a Jackson on the Chargers, dude. Vincent Jackson, that's pretty close to what you're getting with him too. So definitely in contention for even a higher score for me, but I'm going to give him like, a 7 in this video. Next up is Fred Warner, another middle linebacker, 82 speed, really decent zone, but still too slow for me. I'll give him a 3, maybe a 2, just because his zone is good, but he's just too slow, and he's tall though. I don't know. The Niners fans will be happy with this. Everybody else, I'm not quite sure. Next up is Jerome Baker. I do like Jerome Baker. What is he? He's another middle linebacker with 88 speed, 84 hit power, and he's also 6'2". This one's a 6 or 7 for me. Let's give him a 7, just because he does have the height and the speed. Theme team is going to be amazing. Outside of that, he's still going to be pretty good. Next up is Josh Allen. In my opinion, guys, strong arm quarterbacks, a lot of people hate on them. They're kind of the move for me this year. I love that they're able to hit those thresholds for escape artist if you want that. I love that they're able to hit those thresholds for, a hot route master if you want that. Of course, that's later down the road, but it is available to this archetype. And on top of that, these guys, obviously have some of the best throw power in the game. So Josh Allen, to me personally, I would say he's like a 7. For most people, the way they run their squads, I would say this is probably a 6 or a 5, but still a really nice quarterback. I'm going to give him an official 5 rating just because I love that throw power, but his accuracies do need some work. Next up is Darius Leonard, 85 speed outside linebacker. He's kind of good at a lot of things, but not really dominant in anything specific. So I'll give him a 4 just because, I can't really see a place for him on my team, maybe other people's teams, but still he has okay attributes everywhere sprinkled in, just nowhere, particularly dominant. Next up, we got Calvin Ridley, 91 speed, very nice, 6'1". He's underneath, what's his name from the Seahawks, DK Metcalf to me, so I'll give him like an 8. I'll say an 8 seems pretty fair. He's got the speed, he's got the height. He'll be okay for everybody, especially you Falcons teamers. Next up is Mike Hilton, cornerback, 5'9", a little bit short. He's going to be okay as far as his zone coverage, but maybe a little bit worrisome in man. I'm going to give this one a 6. I do like the speed, maybe even a 5. He's okay. He's not going to excel, but he'll be all right. Next up is Austin Eckler. So what do we have? We have 3 running backs, 2 of them being receiving backs. So I think receiving back really fits what you're trying to do if you want like the hot route master effect without having a field general quarterback, because again, Austin Eckler is going to get that backfield master, ability where he gets all those extra routes, which I think are super OP this year without, spending a lot of AP. I think it's one ability point, which is pretty nice. So for what he is on my team, he's a straight 10. Everywhere else, I'll give him a 6. I think he'll be just fine for what you're trying to get out of him, especially if he's your number 2 and he's your receiving back exclusively. Next up is Chuck Clark, strong safety, 89 speed, which is great, with 86 zone and 88 hit power. Strong safety, he's pretty good, man. I'll give this one a 7, borderline 8 for me. That's a pretty nice card statistically. I have to see what he looks like out on the field, but I like the hit power, zone, and speed. Next up is Kareem Hunt. It feels like all of the running backs are 88 speed, aren't they? But still, 87 break tackle, 84 truck. We have no idea what the elusiveness is. He's pretty decent all around, man. I would say he reminds me a little bit of like a Melvin Gordon, where he's kind of good at catching. He's pretty good at running too. He's not super dominant, but he'll gonna get you through your game. So I like it, man. I'll also give him a 6. I think it's really a preference, outside of that of who you want from these running backs. But if you want the best running backs, I would definitely target like a Bo Jackson or somebody outside of these standout players. Next up is John Johnson, the third, 86 speed, 6 foot tall, 88 zone, 84 hit power. Not as good as the last strong safety we saw, so I'll give him a 6. I think he's above average. He's definitely okay, maybe a little bit too slow. Maybe a 5 is probably where I'm feeling at with him. And then lastly, we got Marcus May, free safety with 90 speed, 89 zone, 85 hit power. I like it. I love it. I'll give this one a 7, man. I think out of the free safeties, this one's probably impressed me the most. Well, guys, a bit of a longer video today, but I wanted to give everybody, a clear idea of what they're looking for, how the guy on their theme team looks, how the guy will look like outside of a theme team, which cards to go after, because honestly, these cards are expensive. And I do expect the price on these to be high for at least a couple of days. Maybe in the next few days, the price come down, especially in their power-ups. EA needs to do something to address the price of these power-ups, including in the 50 promo. Those power-ups are going for 500,000 coins. The ones on these are going for a couple 100,000. That's way too much, man. So hopefully they do something to address that in the future. Well, guys, in the comment section below, let me know if you guys agree with these ratings, if there's any of these guys that stood out to you that maybe I gave a bad rating or maybe I gave someone too high of a rating. Let me know in the comment section below. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. This has been The Director. We'll see you next time, and as always, bolt up and stay frosty.